Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to another TravelScope on this hashtag Travel Tuesday. I'm Davey Sutton, joined with Lori Mac Brown. Hi, Lori.
Hi.
And we have the Travel with Bender, Erin Bender, here with us.
Hello.
Tuesday. So we are going to have some good travel talk, good family travel talk. But let's catch up with what we're all doing coming up. This is how we start off our top chat, Erin. So Lori, we'll start with you because you had a very Disney weekend.
I did. It was funny. I didn't even know I was right down there where Erin is, but I just got back last night from Orlando. Specifically, we were at Disney for the Princess Half Marathon weekend. This is kind of becoming an annual thing for us now. And this year is a little bit different for me, but kind of cool. I didn't run it this year. I went as the support person. And, I'm kind of one of those people that are like involved in things. So it was a little tough for me at first, like being support and not like part of, I suck at it. but what was really cool is I came away with an experience that when I do run again is really kind of going to deepen it for me. Last year we got a little part of this, but last year we stayed until the very last runner came through. And if anybody's ever done anything at Disney, it's not like normal races. You get a lot of people who push themselves to run this that normally would not be your stereotype that would. And it probably was one of the most fulfilling things I've ever seen in my life to truly see people who are outside what you envision a runner to be. And just the sheer determination and will. And I mean, I was bawling at the end of it last year, watching this last runner coming through. And this year, I didn't get to see the last runner, but I stayed on Main Street when everybody comes into the Magic Kingdom and actually stayed there through the last runner coming through there. So we got to see from the first to the last. And again, it truly was one of the most moving experiences for me to see, again, just that, the heart. Not people running for time, but people running for heart. And I got to be there with a great charity, Sophie and Madigan's Playground, who we support every year. They're a family who is supporting family travel in a sense. Their two children were tragically killed in a fire 3 years ago, lost their house. The entire family ended up in the hospital, lost everything. And they've turned their grief into an amazing thing. And now they raise money to help other families to create and inspire and build memories together. So that's a charity that's near and dear to our heart. So we got to spend some time with them and it was amazing. So yeah.
So why do you think this race, this Disney race, is more heartfelt than maybe other kind of 5Ks?
Well, and now there's a 5K, a 10K, and a half marathon at this, and I think part of it is the Disney, magic. Like a lot of races, it's you and the road, but Disney certainly. You're running through the parks. You're running through areas you wouldn't see of the park. As you go along, there's characters that you can stop and have pictures with. And, everybody is dressed up. And there's that, it's that Disney glow. You're probably like really present in the moment as each moment kind of unfolds. If you're doing Disney right, you are.
What are they dressed up in?
Oh, you name it. Name any character. It's the princesses. There's certainly a lot of princesses and stuff. And I just enjoyed sitting there watching all the costumes come through. And everybody's in a tutu. Like when I drank last year, I had my tutus on. I had like different tutu outfits. Now, on my honey, it looked kind of more like a 2 by 4. But how often do you get to run around in a tutu and you're completely normal, So there's a lot to be said for that. But it's the Disney allure. It's that, even as Disney has gotten more and more crowded, I think sometimes it's harder, especially if, I know, Erin, you guys were talking about, you were kind of watching what it was like and it was very crowded last week. Sometimes you lose some of the magic in the crowd, but they certainly... It's a way where adults can really feel magic like they did maybe when they were a kid there and stuff. So.
Did you go on any rides with such big crowds there? Like, I know when we did Hong Kong, we did not do one ride because nobody told us it was Chinese school holidays, and it was we were so careful. We checked Hong Kong school holidays, but not Chinese. We did not go on one ride. So
we had our fast passes, so there were a few. But like when we did Magic Kingdom on Friday, because I'm not going to be caught dead in Magic Kingdom that weekend on the weekend. So we did a few, but honestly, it got so crowded in the middle of the day that we hopped on the monorail and went to some of the monorail resorts, like the Contemporary and the Polynesian. We sat out on the beach with a giant pineapple drink. There we go, drinks again. A giant pineapple beach, sat out on the beach there at the Polynesian and just chilled out and enjoyed the sun and missed the crowds. And then we went back later when the crowds were dying down and stuff. But then like Epcot's not near as crowded as Magic Kingdom, generally is. So it was much more enjoyable, that way and stuff. But yeah, we ditched it. And there's so many other things to do around Disney other than just Disney. The properties are amazing,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I wouldn't want to be there on a Chinese holiday. I don't want to be around Disney on any holiday.
Desiree Miller, our regular supporter, she kind of says it also has something to do with kind of you get to see the runners who aren't normally runners that go for it because it's the Disney run, right?
Yes, absolutely. Desiree's done it. She gets it. Oh, and the Dole Whip drinks. Yes.
Oh my goodness. So if you're just joining us, we're doing our TravelScope on this hashtag Travel Tuesday with Lori Mac Brown, Davey Sutton, and our special featured guest is Erin Bender with Travel with Bender. Okay, so coming up next, I'm going to Israel for a really cool trip because I'm gonna be hosted by locals. So when you think of Israel, we all through our American media, it's like, oh, okay, well, first of all, Jewish people have never stopped going to Israel, right? They'll always make it back home. And then there are the people who take like the Christian tours, they'll go to Israel too. But other than that, we hear about, the Gaza border, the violence there. So these Puzzle Israel is hosted by
yeah. My whole family's been, we went for 2 months.
Right. So basically that's why I'm going just kind of, and we're going to go to the Gaza border because the border is large and there's violence on a certain part, but there are people and families who live there. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm just going to be it's going to be a total immersive experience hosted by locals. So if there is something that, rises up, they won't take us there, but it's going to be a combination of adventure travel, which I'm always down for, plus cultural immersion. So it's the perfect trip for me, and I can't wait to go. So that's next. I'm leaving Saturday, and I guess I arrive Sunday evening. The time change, but I'm really looking forward to it. So that's what's up next for me, and I want to go to Erin. Oh, what did you have to say, Erin?
If you are looking for cultural immersion, my mother-in-law lives there, and that will be a cultural immersion.
I love you.
I'll set you up.
Yes.
She is Jewish mother all over.
All over. Yes. Okay, so where are you originally from? Where is your accent? Where hail from, Erin?
Josh and I are Australian born, and were born and raised in Australia, at least until I was about 20 when I got a little bit bored and I moved over to London for a little bit. Because my father is British and my mother is Dutch, and Josh's mother is Israeli and his father is American. So we're first generation Australians.
So you're basically born expatriates.
Yeah. My parents did all the hard work, so get on them.
You got to jump on it. You're like, we got this expat thing down. We were born into it.
Born into it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But you, I've been following your travel map, and you've been spending a lot of time lately in the States.
Yeah, so we went actually nomadic 4 years ago. We left Australia in May 2012, and we have been on the move ever since. We haven't been anywhere for more than 2 months. At the moment, our focus has been a year-long trip around North America, hashtag mother of all road trips. And yeah, that's what we've been doing at the moment.
So no home base for you, you would say. You're fully nomadic.
Fully nomadic, have a PO box somewhere. I don't know. I haven't checked it in a while. So,
She'll get there. Don't worry.
Well, we rented out our house. We sold our cars, so we don't really have any bills or anything as per se. We have to have contents insurance on the house, so sometimes we have a bill for that. But I tried to get everything on email when I could when we started off, so that I don't have to worry about mail. I hate paper mail.
And you'll never get it anyway, so.
No, we did have a problem once with like our credit cards. We kept jumping around and they obviously put them on holds and stuff like that. And then they paper mailed us and we never got it. Eventually we got back to Australia for a visit a year later. I went through like, a pile of mail like this big. And there was a thing in there saying that they're going to get debt collectors on us and all this sort of stuff. And we were like, oh, this mail thing's a bit of a hassle. Like, that could be a problem.
How did that phone call go? Because, they've heard some stories. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Like, I haven't gotten my mail in 2 years.
Yeah, that's exactly how it went.
Is that, and you can hear them on the other line, hadn't got their mail in 2 years. Right, we heard that one.
Well, it was only a small amount, and they said, oh, we've already paid it all off. There's nothing you can do about it. And I was like, but I want to pay it. Like, I didn't know it was a debt that we had, and I'm willing to pay it. And they're like, no, because it's been like a year. We've already done it all. And I'm like, well, thank you very much.
You're like, don't worry. I'm not buying a house anytime soon. See ya.
That's true, right, Larry? So I bet I would say if I'm a betting woman, you're probably a subscriber to Amazon Prime.
Since we arrived in the US, we have, and I love it.
Because you need that stuff like within 2 days. So, you're on the move. So if you have
so like when we know where we're going, like we visited our relatives in New York for Christmas, so we knew we were heading there. Like, so for a month beforehand, it's like package. And they were like, you've got so much stuff in our garage. I'm like, it's okay, I'm going to come and sort it all out.
That's too funny. So, Erin, now you said you're headed to the Women in Travel Summit here soon, correct?
Yes.
Are you going to be speaking there?
So excited. I have 2 sessions there. One about working with brands and how to pitch them. And the other session is a panel between brands and bloggers and how we like things to go. So
right.
We're also offering mentoring sessions this year. I think it's a first for them, and all the speakers are having one-on-one sessions that you can purchase. I have sold 5 of them. I have one left.
Virtual high five. I'm going to give you high fives.
The travel writer knows how good that is. There you go.
Like these little hands, I don't know what they are, but they just went up like, woo!
Yeah.
Look, they feel so good, don't they?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so like I think probably so when you became nomads, which I love, is basically I think people have the question of like, how do you do that with children? Like, how are you handling their education?
Yeah, it was insane. It was all my husband's fault in the first place. It was his idea. And he took about 2 years to convince me because I had our son by then. So Caius and Mia were 2 and 3 when we left Australia. They're now 6 and 7, and they've been to 64 countries. They are one of the most well-traveled. We're actually talking to Guinness Book of Records at the moment to see if they are the youngest well-traveled kids in the world.
Beat that on Show and Tell Day. Show and Tell.
So
Guinness
obviously,
Book of World Record.
Yes, fingers crossed. But yeah, they were really young when we left, so we didn't have to think about education. That was one of the bonuses. We didn't have to think about that for a very long time. And it was only in Australia, they used to start school at 6. Halfway through our travels, they changed it to start school at 5. So I was a bit like, no. I know in Finland, which they have one of the best education systems in the world, they don't start school till 7. So we really haven't had too much of a worry about the situation. They're learning currency, geography. We supplement that with a little bit of writing ourselves. We've got a bunch of, workbooks that we carry around and reading books and stuff like that. And they've got online programs, and YouTube is amazing.
Absolutely.
We go for a walk and they see an ant's nest, and I point it out to them, and they're like, how did they build that? I'm like, that's going to be our YouTube videos today. So
that's awesome. So yeah, so go ahead.
Let me ask you, I know if you're not a lot of people that are in family travel and family travel writing and things like that homeschool their kids. I'm not one of those. And it was an abrupt thing for me when my kiddo entered public school and had been traveling. And then the first trip I went to take him out, and they don't excuse absences for travel. Let me ask you, Erin, with everything that you've seen, and you've seen different systems, you've seen different educational systems, your experience with your kids, how would you advise a school system on their travel policy?
It's hard because if every child in their 30-something student class did that, they wouldn't be teaching anybody. But I think it's playing a really important part in my kids' lives. After the first year and a half, I actually did go back to Australia. I decided that the stuff that had been sitting in my garage needed to be sold off because we weren't planning on coming back. So we went home for 3 months to sell all our belongings after a year and a half, and I put the kids in school during that 3 months. And I was curious, how was travel treating them? Were they dumber? Were they smarter? Were they social? And teacher said that they were absolutely fine. They were ahead of the class. They made friends super easily, which is a travel thing because everywhere we go, they're making friends like that straight away.
Of course.
And people often say to me, oh, the social aspect is the worst part. Like, your kids won't get social if they don't go to school. Yeah, they will. They just won't hang out with the same 5 people for the rest of their life. They actually hang out with a lot more people. Right. And we have a family that does this exact same thing as us. They travel around the world. We first met them in Bali in 2012. We've been to 6 countries with that family. Our lives are not, oh, where do you want to go on holiday? Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Our lives are, hey, what about Romania for Christmas? Yeah, let's make that happen. Can we do it?
Which is awesome.
Love it.
I think let's rewind a little bit and go back to like your personal travel story, and then it's quite hilarious. You alluded to it about then your husband dragging you back into it, but you've always been kind of traveler at heart. So you first started traveling when you were 18.
Yes, that was actually my first international trip. I'm one of 5, so my parents obviously didn't have that much money to be taking us out of the country all the time. And when I graduated, they decided they would take us all to Bali. So Bali, Indonesia was my first taste. Hated it, never wanted to go back. Been back 10 times since.
But I can see for a little kid, it's really adult, right? I think it might be too much for a little kid. Yeah,
there was a lot of poverty and there was a lot of heat. It was really humid, and I just didn't enjoy it as much. Now, being an adventure traveler, it's like my second home. I love it. It's cheap and the people are beautiful. So that was the first time. Then when I turned 20, my father suggested I move to London for a year. I was in a serious relationship since I was 16 with the man I am now married to. And
does he know that?
Do you know that we were in a serious relationship at 16? He's like, no, I was dating everybody. So they were like a bit like, hey, you should go to London. I was like, that's awesome. What a great idea. So I moved to London when I was 20 and did travel around Europe. Josh and I loved traveling on our anniversaries and our time off. And in 2007, we did a 7-week trip around the world, which was our last hurrah. We were about to have kids. We were never going to travel again, ever, because you can't travel with kids. And so we did this big trip. And, yeah, guess we kind of got hooked.
Right. So what was the transition? Because I read in your bio, there was you got married, you had conceded, like, okay, that was the last hurrah. And then Josh, you said for two years kind of convinced you to kind of travel again. So what was the hold up in your mind? Just kind of preconceived notions that married.
My kids were in daycare. I wouldn't even know what to do with them, 7 days a week if we went around the world with them. And I was working in the business with Josh. I'm a social media marketer and he was a web designer. But the catalyst really came one day we were in Kuala Lumpur on a holiday and we were doing our budget and we realized we had actually saved money being on holiday. And not only had we saved money, we hadn't cleaned, we hadn't cooked, and we were having a lot of fun.
Sign me up.
Right.
And he was like, I could work anywhere in the world. Do you realize that? He was a web designer, so he was self-employed, and as long as he had his laptop, he could continue to work wherever he was. And he kept saying that, we should perpetual travel. We should live here for 6 months, live somewhere else for 6 months. And Eventually, he said, let's just go for 6 months. And I thought, okay, that sounds like an adventure. I can do 6 months. It's just a little bit of time. Let's do it. 6 months went by and it was working. It's now been 4 years.
That's awesome. I love that. And then this is another hang up that people kind of imagine. You kind of conceded to the lifestyle of traveling. But some people, like, it is very affordable for families to travel if they plan and they think about it in a different way than just holiday, thinking about it more of as a lifestyle. How do you guys, you mentioned that he was a graphic designer. How do you guys financially support your travel?
That's so funny because I was at Crayola. I was just at Crayola the other day and this guy was talking to me and he said, which lottery did you win? And I said, well, let's think about this. My place in Orlando is costing me $1,800 for the month. It includes my cable, my Wi-Fi, my electricity, parking, all the rest of that. And the only things I'm spending on top of it are fuel and food. So let's say I'm spending maybe $2,500 for this whole month that I'm here. He's like, and I'm like, and I don't have anything back home I'm paying off. I don't have a house that I'm going to go back to. I don't have cars. I don't have bills. So I'm just paying for where I am right now. He was like, yeah, actually my house is costing me $3,000 a month. And then I paid for this trip to come here and I'm not living at my house, which I paid $3,000 for. And then I paid however much to come to Disney World this week, you know? And so traveling with your family is not actually as expensive as people think. They only think that because they go on a vacation where they're paying for 2 lives. We're only paying for 1 life still. And we do that through Josh. My husband used to be a web designer. He actually sold that business. He focuses on SEO management and photography now. He's our photography for the site. Ooh, someone else came online. Hi.
So you focus
yeah, I also make money through the blog as well.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, Palash, welcome.
Yeah, hey. Yeah, so I wanted to share something about digital nomad culture. So these days, more and more freelancers, people are becoming switching to freelancing, and most of the freelancers are becoming nomads. So they like to travel the whole world. They like to go to places. So Sarthak wants to share something.
Where are you from? Okay, so we lost our guest. But yes, okay, so yeah, your story is awesome. So you kind of made your job travel.
Yeah, Erin, I want to ask you a question. I know a lot of people, if they said that, you know, they had to work with their husband, live with their husband, it was all the time. How has your marriage been? Has it been great for your marriage? And what have you learned, and how can that apply to other people?
Probably fought more than ever before.
Right.
I have to be careful because he's in the room.
Right. He loves you, Josh.
But Josh and I were working together before we left. Josh had a home office. I would send, when we had Mia, I would send her into the office and tell him she had a pooey nappy and it needed to be changed. He responded by installing a lock on the door. So we were working together for a long time. We've been together since we were 16. I guess we were used to doing life together. It's still been harder because we don't have moments where I'm going to go off on a girls' night right now. See you later. Right. But it's also been getting easier because as our blog is becoming more popular, we have been invited to more places. Sometimes they don't want the whole family to come, and we've actually started enjoying those moments where he'll go off on a photography fam trip. I'll go off on, a girls' weekend away, and nice. We've started really enjoying that. He actually just went to Turkey for a whole week for the World Tourism Forum, and we both really enjoyed that time apart.
No, I was going to ask it. That was a great question, Lori, like how the social aspect comes into it, because if it's just the family going everywhere, then you want to still have your own personal time, your own Erin time, and you're gonna have that with the summit that you're going to speak at too, right? Or is he coming too?
Lots of trips, and I have a lot of speaking engagements. He's not coming. No, we there's not much point when he's just going to sit around. It's a women's summit. So, but we also do get a lot of people on our blog wanting to meet us, and there are a couple of Facebook groups we're a part of with other traveling families. This week alone, I'm meeting 3 different people who are in Orlando and found out we were here, and they're like, "Can we meet up with you?" So we stay very social.
That's awesome. I love that part. Okay, so we have time for, this is what Lori and I do at the end of the broadcast. We do our rapid fire questions. So it's similar to like the questions we were asking, but you have to be very succinct. Yeah, load on, hydrate. Okay, so I'm going to start. Is there a place that you'll never visit again?
Bulgaria and France.
Why?
Bulgaria didn't have very good food, and I'm a big foodie, and France because I've been 3 times and I've never once had a good experience. Sorry, French people.
I love you.
I also have British blood, so it might be a little bit of that generational thing. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
All right, Erin, what is the one beauty product you can't live without no matter how nomadic you are?
Dry hair shampoo.
Yes.
I just used it today.
That's awesome. So if you see her in person, you smell a fragrant thing from her hair, it can be a disguise. It can be the mask.
The tropical ones are the nicest.
It's the best thing ever invented. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
It actually doesn't work for my hair, though. My hair needs oils. You guys need to remove the oils. So the dry hair kind of sucks up the oil. I need more oils in my hair. What has been your most embarrassing moment traveling?
Oh, good question. Any embarrassing moments in travel? I don't get embarrassed. I could throw my top up right now and I wouldn't be embarrassed.
Nothing with the kids? Oh no, she's making this challenge.
We've got to change the topic before you do that.
I was going to change to challenge bender. So nothing with the children or anything?
Not embarrassing. KS did point out a really fat lady when we were in America once and said, "Look at her," really loudly. And we had to have a chat about it was okay to talk to us about that, but not in public. But no, nothing really.
How about here? Well, I would say especially in America, I don't know other places, but what is your favorite comment that you roll your eyes at when people hear your Australian accent?
Do you have a pet kangaroo?
Really? People don't say that to you, do you? Do they?
They do in America. I know they do.
And something about usually like, have you cuddled a koala or something? Those things are dangerous, man. They've got claws. Stay away from those things.
Both of those things are dangerous.
Yeah, my brother got boxed by a kangaroo. You don't want to be near those things.
Have you seen those muscle kangaroos? Like those weightlifters? Have you seen how their muscles? Like they are some crazy. I don't even know how they work out like that. Both of them are crazy. Now, at least you're not from New Zealand, and people say that you're Australian because I heard that's a big kind of like no. I do get a lot of people asking me if I'm British, and I just respond and say, "Oh, so no, I'm not. But are you from Canada?" So usually that's right back.
Love it.
Okay. And so, what has been your biggest travel fail?
Oh, we were in Antigua in Guatemala, and we were there for the Semana Santa, which is the massive Easter festival they have there every year. The population like triples in size. It's huge. We had been warned that obviously with so many tourists coming in, pickpockets were going to abound. And we were like, yep, we know. Anyway, we were walking through for dinner one night, and one of the parades started coming down the same street we were walking. We had avoided them until that time. And all of a sudden, this influx of people came in. We got crushed up really tight. And my husband had Mia on his shoulders. And I said to him, "Watch out for your wallet." And he was like, "Oh, okay." So he put his hand in his pocket and put it over his wallet. We got outside the crowd. He puts his hand in his other pocket and he goes, "Do you have your phone?" I said, "No, you have it." And he's like, "No, I don't have it." And I'm like, "Yes, you did." And he's like, should we go back?
But I've got my wallet.
So travel fail. We knew, we were warned, but we did get mixed up in it, and yes, we got pickpocketed in Guatemala. So
at least you have the wallet. Like that's not a total fail. Like the wallet is by far more important. You can put the phone anywhere.
And he had his phone in that pocket with his wallet. So we managed to save one phone and one wallet. Just one phone got stolen. This, of course, for my husband means that he gets a new phone and I get his old phone.
Oh!
Conspiracy!
Not a travel fail, it's a mail fail.
Yeah.
And you hashtag everybody. Mail
I love it. I was going to say, I'm like, that's a good one. That one. So, Erin, what is your favorite travel find? The one thing that now that you found it, you wish you could find everywhere you go.
Travel find.
Whether it's food or product or what's that one thing you go, oh, how did I not live without this?
Probably a universal adapter. I just love those things, man. You can go anywhere and you're always prepared. And when you first start traveling, you don't really think about it, especially if you're one of those people that just go on vacation because you usually don't have your electronics with you. But when you're hopping country to country, you need a universal adapter.
Yeah.
And my Vegemite. I must have my Vegemite from Australia. I travel with that.
I was going to ask you that.
Time. Hold on a second.
Yeah, what is a Vegemite? She's going to show us.
I think she's going to,
I have no clue what that is.
Okay, explain this to Davey what Vegemite is.
I have no clue what that is.
It's a yeast extract, actually. It sounds revolting. And to most people, it tastes revolting. It's completely black.
Does it smell revolting?
I love it. I think it smells awesome. I could just smell it all day.
What do you use it
a cow freshener. So you put it on toast. It's kind of like a spread, like you would use your Vegemite or your Nutella or your peanut butter, but it's salty. It's a savory spread. I have a YouTube video on how to spread it because when I first gave it to someone, they spread it like Nutella. You don't do thick like that. It's like paper thin, like it's strong.
Davey, you're gonna have to watch that YouTube segment.
I am. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now that you say that, is it from the UK?
No, the UK have Marmite. It's disgusting. This is Australian Vegemite.
I think I have heard of it, and I think I've probably seen a YouTuber do a Vegemite Marmite. Yes, okay. It's all flooding back to me. It's all coming back. But I'm going to check out yours. And you guys should check out Travel with Bender, and her hashtag or her social media is at Travel with Bender. Oh, Wit.
No, it's Wit.
Well,
yeah, pretend you're from South.
Wit.
Travel Wit Bender.
Twitter didn't have enough letters, and I'm like, what am I supposed to take out of that name? Like, what could I take out of it? So,
I don't know.
Twitter and Snapchat. Twitter and Snapchat are the only ones that are Travel Wit Bender. Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook are all the proper name.
That's hilarious. I'm giggling because it's like the H is missing, like just the
They're
H.
slang on Twitter. They're proper everywhere else.
Damn them, Twitter. Why can't they just give me one more letter? Just one. Anybody someone
damn Twitter
who works for Twitter, put another character in the damn thing.
That's so crazy. But yes, follow all of their travel tales. They'll be just as hilarious as this show. Thank you again for spending time with us. Erin, enjoy the rest of your month in Orlando and your trips ahead. We'll be following you on social media. And the same with Lori MacBrown at Lori MacBrown on social media. Everyone says Erin is awesome. And if there's another travel show coming on at 1 if you want to continue to travel. It's Desiree Miller. You can see her. She's in our chat room, and you can click through to there. And I'm Davy Sutton. Until next week, we will do this again at noon Eastern Standard Time. TravelScope. See you guys next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Thanks.